Hello, loves. I want to talk today about the reality around us and what we need to do and move in to do if it's not favorable to what we wish to have in our lives. We have been moving through some very, very chaotic energies. Well, we have been for the past few years, but that eclipse portal that opened has really unrooted a lot of deep trauma that's been stuck in our nervous system. And the reason it's coming out is because of these higher solar flares, this resonance from the sun coming down to the earth, and it's working to unroot these energies from your being so that you can anchor more light, aka raise your vibrational frequency. Because that's what it is. When we're holding lower density energies in us, fears, traumas running through our animal brain, running by our body, and not tuning into our higher energies, our higher chakras, our heart, our higher self. We are running these programs, these old programs. They can, sorry, my nose is itchy. I was just gardening. So they can be generational traumas that have come through because, as we know with epigenetics, our parents pass things on to us. And when people go through trauma, it actually changes their DNA structure. It changes chemicals within their body that shift your DNA. So that being in your system, or say your mother was in a traumatic experience during pregnancy, which I was with my daughter, very traumatic, abusive experiences. And I know I passed it on to her. So now my work is to work through that with her. So because her nervous system was formed with that energy that I was feeling at the time of my pregnancy with her. So it's so important for us to feel into our body. And it's so, we can shift this. We can move these things out of our system. We don't have to be victims. We no longer have to live these programs and beliefs that are running behind the scenes. Step one is awareness. And awareness comes with watching the mirror around us. So if things outside of you are triggering you, if circumstances are triggering you and you're reacting in this reactionary way out of abandonment or not being heard or, injustice wounds or things like that, we're just continuing that same cycle. So the way to break it and the way to step above it is to feel into it. And don't ever be upset at yourself for reacting, maybe in a way that you wish you didn't. Rewrite it in your mind. This is how you change your reality. You start to rewrite things in your mind and create a new narrative. Instead of going down the rabbit hole of feeling guilty about maybe something that you said or the way you acted or the way somebody perceived you, you rewrite that shit in your mind. Sorry, that's probably not a nice word to use, but you rewrite that into a narrative where you're winning all the time. And this is not egotistical or in any type of egotistical way. It's about calming the nervous system, because that is number one, and stepping out of that trauma program, that loop that's running. So when we can calm our nervous system and step out of that loop of trauma, we can then align our mind to the higher version. Does that make sense? So it's actually very simple. In the moment, it may not be. But when our nervous system is on high alert because something outside is a perceived danger, whether it's the way somebody says something to us, maybe somebody gives us a look or cuts us off in traffic, but that has triggered a deeper wound, some kind of anger comes up, fear, resentment, whatever. We're living in our nervous system then. We're living in our triggered state. And nothing can be created when we're in that state. We're actually sucking energy off of everything around us when we're in that state. So that is very difficult to sustain any type of creation. And as we know, we're creator beings. And when we want to create consciously our reality, if we're in that triggered state, we're not going to be able to create anything. So when we bring ourselves out of our nervous system, when we come back down into our physical body, that's where we start creating again. And we start rewriting that narrative. And by create, I mean creating in your mind's eye what you want to see happening. How are you feeling? What are you aware of? What are you picking up on? It's all perception and attachment to these old belief systems. And when you understand and start to untie those attachments, it becomes easier and easier the next time and quicker to untie them and be like, hey, this isn't real. This is perceived. This is my perception. I've always said life is subjective. It's subjective to the perspective you have going into the circumstances around you. That's a mouthful. but it's so true, because think you could have 30 people in a room and something goes on and everybody has a different perspective of what's going on in that room. Everybody's going to see something different, hear something different, or something different is going to resonate with them based on their perspective. And this is the beauty of life. Shift your perspective, shift your life. Take those attachments off of those wounds that you hold, take those perspectives back, and understand that you're shifting your life. One perspective shift at a time. And this is why gratitude is so important. And I know people might be like, oh, why do you always ask what we're grateful for? Because when you can tune into that gratitude, that joy, you are shifting your perspective from maybe grumpiness or disharmony to a higher perspective of gratitude. Gratitude is like the ultimate energy to be exuding and to be in, because when you're in a place of unconditional love, you're just grateful for everything that's going on, good, bad, or ugly, because everything has a lesson in it and everything has beauty. So sit on that for a bit. Work on shifting your perspective. The next time you're triggered, when you can pull yourself out, shift yourself out of that and be like, why am I perceiving it this way? Maybe when that person isn't thinking they're saying anything wrong or they looked the wrong way at you, see it from their perspective. Anyway, I love you. If you're wanting to work one-on-one with me, I have some openings for this month, a couple left, and then June, half of my calendar's open for bookings. And I have a new moon healing circle coming up on May 30th, which is awesome. They're always so great and so much fun working with the collective. And then there is the tapping into intuition and higher guidance course coming up in June. So check those out. They're up in the events tab at the top. If you're on Facebook, if you are on YouTube, they're underneath in the link tree. So I love you. Check them out. And if you're just coming on now, rewatch this video. You're here for a reason. This is a really good one. Anyway, have a great day. Bye.